Good morning and welcome to another installment of the Daily Word. Today we are in Luke chapter 16, verses 1 through 18, and a parable that pulls no punches. It is about money and stewardship. And Jesus tells this parable, and the Pharisees are nearby, and they were lovers of money. And so he was really pushing the point of those who are just stewards and unjust or unrighteous stewards. And he says in verse 10, "He who is faithful in a very little thing is faithful also in much. And he who is unrighteous in a very little thing is unrighteous also in much." And so there's some clear principles there about being faithful with what God has given us. And he says in verse 13, "No servant can serve two masters," echoes of Matthew 6 here. "For either he'll hate one and love the other, or else he'll hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." And earlier, he makes a statement about using the mammon of the unrighteous. In other words, using the resources and the money of even the world for kingdom work, for God's work, for the righteous works. And when we come upon a parable like this, I believe we must not simply broad brush over the Pharisees or overlook them and think, oh, there they go again. I really believe we should self-analyze here. Do I love money? Do you love money? How do you view money? Whose money is it anyways? When you look at the way the Pharisees were, it's so easy, right, to pick on them and go, oh, these money-hungry, stuffy, self-righteous Pharisees. But how often do we view money as ours? And how often do we view money as God's? The Bible teaches that he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, that everything is his, everything we own is his. He's given it to us as stewards, which means we're managers of it, not owners of it. So yes, you may go to work and make the paycheck. Yes, you might be an inventor or creator or a manager, and you do a lot of things and you earn the money you're given. Sure, absolutely. However, above even that, the fact that you earn it, God is the one allowing you to earn it. God is the one providing. And so when the Christian will view all that they have as God's, a beautiful thing starts to happen. We see ourselves as an ecosystem, right? To give and to receive. We are given from God, we receive from God, so we can give to God. And I wonder if you and I at times need to reassess the way we view money. Jesus talked about it so much. In fact, it was one of the most hot and common topics that he would deal with, because like he taught in the Gospel of Matthew, where our treasure is, our heart is. So look not only where your money's going, but how you view money. Some people think, I'm not giving to the church. What has the church done for me? Well, that's a transactional way to view money and a transactional way to view God's work. There's nothing in the Bible that says if the church does all that you want, well then give. Some people say, I'm not giving to that church. I don't like the leaders. I don't trust them, or I don't like what they do with the money, or why'd they change the carpet, or whatever, or why didn't they do what I wanted them to do? You know, this money's for what I want it to do or to build. Well, there you have again, maybe not so much of even a transactional view of money, but a selfish view of money, right? I'm authority. My money is mine. And if you want it, you're going to do what I want you to do. Well, that is a very selfish way to view money, not a stewardship way to view money. There's people that think, well, there's plenty of other people who give. God doesn't need my money. I'm not very wealthy. I don't have a lot. If I give, it's just a little. What can God do with a little? Well, that is also the wrong way to view money, not because you're a bad person, but because you're missing out on the opportunity for God to take your little 5 loaves and 2 fish and multiply it. See, God cares not about the amount. He cares about your heart. And when people are faithful, like he says, with little, he knows that you can be faithful with much. And when people who have a lot are not faithful, you know what? They will continue, like Proverbs says, to watch money go through their hands like sand. They'll continue to chase wealth, and wealth, like Proverbs teaches, has wings, and it'll keep flying away from those kind of people. Because God has a pattern. He blesses generous people, not because prosperity gospel, they're giving money and so they're going to get a bunch of stuff and drive Bentleys. No, God blesses generous people, whether they're rich or poor, because he knows he can trust them to put him and his work first. Matthew 6:33 reminds us to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else will take care of itself. All these other things will be added. However, the main thing that we're to focus on is using our resources to build, further, and advance the work of God here on earth. So Simple, sure. Tough to work out, absolutely. But let a parable like this and a moment with God help you think about money differently and even begin to steward differently. So maybe today it's time to start giving. It doesn't matter what amount, it just matters how your heart is. Maybe today it's time to start giving again. Maybe you're one of those people that said, I've done enough for the church. I've done enough for God. What has he ever done for me? Or let somebody else do it. Well, maybe it's time to go to 2 Corinthians 8 and 9 and see the call to generosity from even the Macedonian Christians was to give. The excitement to give. Those people were poor. They didn't have a lot, and they still wanted to give a lot. And then maybe for some of you, you've never understood the concept. You just kind of give because it's what you do, and you need to remember what you're doing is worship. And so think through what you're doing and rejoice joyfully at the opportunity to be a steward. I hope this helps you and challenges you this morning as you think about money, your heart, and the gospel. Love you.